Hi, welcome to Story Time. I have a book here. It's called The Mermaid Moon. Let's see what this is all about. Once there were two best friends. One was from the sea, a mermaid named Marin. And one was from the land, a human named Molly. See? A mermaid and human. Molly lived in Merporth, a little fishing village where the houses were stacked around the harbor and the boats went up and down with the tide. She could see the sea from her bedroom. Marin lived in the harbor with her mom, Nerissa, who protected the cove from the wind and rain. She taught Marin whale songs and storm charming to keep her safe. When the sun set, they fell asleep inside their mermaid cave carved into the harbor wall. There's Molly. There's Marin. That's a cool little place to live, huh? Yeah. Every day after school, the girls would play together, and Molly above the water and Marin below. They'd search for treasure in sea caves and ancient shipwrecks. They'd surf the waves with the dolphins and follow pods of whales as they glided through the gloomy depths. There they are, playing in the ocean. One afternoon, the girls watched excitedly as Merporth bustled with preparations. That night was the Mermaid Moon Festival, and Marin was finally old enough to join in. All the sea creatures would be able to swim through the air to explore the human world. Best of all, Marin would see Molly's house for the first time. Molly skipped home for dinner. "Keep it real, baby seals," she called. "See you tonight." "Farewell, seashell," Marin replied, diving below the water. How exciting. After eating their seaweed supper, Marin's mom told her more about the Mermaid Moon. "Make sure to be home before the moon's reflection disappears from the sea, my little minnow," she warned. "Otherwise, your scales will dry out and the magic will vanish from the cove forever." Marin gulped and nodded. Then Nerissa wrapped her fin around her daughter, saying, "But don't forget to have fun." Yeah. As the moon started to rise, Marin watched the first creatures lift out of the waves. Seals twisted and turned in the night sky. Dolphins leapt and stayed airborne, flicking their tails to propel them through town. Look. Oh my goodness, all the sea creatures. Marin closed her eyes and concentrated on the Mermaid Moon. Magic. She pushed up to the surface. Oh, I hope it goes well. And kept on going. Up, up, up. She swished her glittering fin and followed the flurry of fish swimming through the air with a bright laugh. She did it. Look. There she goes. Yay! At the water's edge, Marin spotted Molly waiting for her. "You're flying," Molly giggled. "Come on, there's so much to see. And Mom and Dad said you could sleep over." Marin floated to a stop. "I wish I could, but..." And she explained what her mother had told her about the mermaid moon magic vanishing. Molly's face fell, but then she smiled. "Oh, well," she declared, "we'd better get going then." Look. That's amazing. The streets of Merporth were strung with seashell bunting. Coral wreaths hung on doors, and sea glass mobiles sparkled in windows. Fish scales shimmered and twinkled in the moonlight. There were market stalls and even a band, and Marin swang among it all and chanted. They're having quite a festival. Huh, yeah. At one stall, Molly bought them matching bracelets with her allowance. At another, Marin tried her first hot chocolate. And the moon began to sink, and the market closed. The girls wandered up the hill to Molly's house. They went silently upstairs, careful not to wake her mom and dad. There they go. To Merrin, Molly's room seemed full of strange things. Merrin stared at the coralless walls and frowned in confusion at the lamp until Molly flicked the light switch. "Wow," whispered Merrin. Instead of a sandy seabed, there was a fluffy carpet, and instead of sea kelp, blankets. There were books, toys, paper, and pens, along with things they had collected together. Jars of sea glass and shells on every shelf. She's not used to that. She's used to under the water. When she saw the moon glint through the bedroom curtains, Merrin said, "Uh-oh, I'd better head home." Down the stairs and out the door the girls hurried, but in Molly's backyard, something caught Merrin's eye. What do you think it might be? "What's that?" Merrin asked. "My swing," Molly replied. "Want to try?" "Yes, please," said Merrin, climbing on. Molly pushed. "It's like swimming and flying all at once," Merrin exclaimed. Swings are the best. Yep. When the swing slowed to a stop, she looked up at the moon with a sigh. She really didn't want to leave yet. An owl swooped overhead, and Merrin floated up to a tree branch to watch it fly beyond the hills. Molly clambered up after her and noticed the moon was starting to dip into the sea. "Quick," she reminded Merrin. "You need to get home." "Oh, sea urchins," Merrin said. "I wish I could stay forever." And she drifted sadly down. But she's a mermaid. But as Molly followed, shimmying down the tree, the branch beneath her foot snapped. She clung to the branch above, stuck. Merrin rushed over to help. She clasped Molly's hand and pulled, but she could feel the magic wearing off. There was no way she could carry Molly down. "Go, Merrin, or you'll be stuck too." "I won't leave without you," said Merrin as her scales started to tingle. But if she stayed, she'd ruin the magic of the Mermaid Moon. Oh, what should she do? Oh, this is such a dilemma. And then she remembered there was a song her mom had taught her long ago. A whale song to sing in times of trouble. Closing her eyes, she began. "Whale, whale, great or small, deep below the white sea foam. Listen, listen, hear my call. Mighty whale, please help me home." The lilting melody pulsed through the air and sea. And she's singing. That moon's almost gone. Oh my. Suddenly, from the depths beyond the harbor leapt a huge whale, pushing out of the waves into the sky. Water poured off its back onto the rooftops as it swept toward them. The whale hovered over the tree, holding its fin steady for the girls to climb on. Molly gasped. "Don't be afraid," said Merrin, helping her friend mount the whale's back. Look at that whale. He's huge. That's awesome. Once astride, the girls clung to its barnacles. With a swoosh of its tail, the whale set off again. Molly and Merrin cheered the great creature on as it hurtled through the sky to the sea. With the Mermaid Moon magic wearing off, the whales skirted over chimneys and brushed past trees. Oh boy. Think they'll make it in time? It sank lower, narrowly missing the harbor wall. Molly slid off just before Merrin and the whale splashed into the sea. Oh my goodness, and there they go. I hope they made it in time. Merrin burst out of the water and flipped into the air. "We did it!" she cried. In the distance, the whale's tail saluted them before sinking below. "Goodbye," called Molly. "Thank you." The moon's reflection twinkled on the waves one last moment and was gone. I think she made it in time. Molly hugged her friend goodbye. "I can't wait for next year when we can do it all again," she said. Merrin laughed and hugged Molly back. Then she dipped below the waves to her mermaid cave. and Molly slipped up the hill to her cottage to sleep. Well, that was a great story. I hope you liked it as much as I did.